Thank you, Reese, and welcome everybody to ESPN's presentation of the 2013 Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl from Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. Tonight, a matchup of two teams that took opposite paths to their identical records of 7-5, and they're meeting for the first time ever. More than 250 years of combined football history. It's Michigan and Kansas State, and the Wolverines are ready to take the field. Season started very well for Michigan. They opened at 5-0. They were ranked number 11 in the country, thinking about a Big Ten title, but they struggled for Brady Hoke in the second half of the season. They arrive having lost 4 of their last 5. Unlike Michigan, Kansas State started the season slowly. The Wildcats were 2-4 to begin the year. And they arrive here in Tempe, winners of 5 of their last 6. And as always, the Wildcats travel very well. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Sean McDonough along with Chris Spielman will be joined shortly by Shannon Spake. Delighted to have you with us. These two teams have a lot in common beyond the record 7-5. They both averaged right around 33 points per game, and interesting situations at the quarterback position. Tonight for Michigan, it'll be the true freshman Shane Morris making his first career start as he steps in for the injured Devin Gardner.
Well, we talked to him yesterday, Sean. He's composed and he's ready for this moment. But when you look at Shane and talking to Al Borges, the offensive coordinator, he's a guy that has a powerful arm. He can make all the throws. Now, it is vital for Shane Morris to have a very good first quarter. Well, how do you do that? By play calling, short passes. And Michigan was very successful with screen passes against Ohio State, for a look for that. But the one thing he needs more than anything else is protection from the offensive line. It's been inconsistent, and also the ability to run the football to take some pressure off of Shane.
He appeared briefly in 3 games during the regular season. He's had about a month to get ready for this assignment. Devin Gardner was hurt in their final game of the regular season and hasn't practiced since. Meanwhile, we think it's still a 2-quarterback situation for Kansas State. Bill Snyder has said that's not his preference, but that's the way it's been all season long. Although in recent weeks, Daniel Sams, the running quarterback, hasn't played that much. Jake Waters has been the starter all year long.
Yeah, all but 7 plays the last 2 games, and Jake Waters gives them the most balance. He can throw the ball downfield on the ground, 270 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns with his feet. So he gives them the best option, I think, to win this football game. And he's going to throw to a dangerous wide receiver, an explosive wide receiver, and Tyler Lockett. The thing I like about Tyler is that he's very patient in his route running. Right there, you see him sell the double move, and he has sure, solid hands and catch the ball under pressure. Also, this is where you like to see Tyler work out in space one-on-one. He works back to the football. He can make people miss, and he knows what to do with the run after catch. And of course, any good receiver will never drop one when nobody's covering him, and Tyler Lockett is that good.
From a great K-State family, his dad, Kevin, the all-time leading receiver in Wildcat history. We're back at Sun Devil Stadium. First meeting between these two schools. 43rd bowl appearance for Michigan. First time they played one in December since 2005, which is also the last time they played a team from the Big 12. They lost the Alamo Bowl to Nebraska. Most of K-State's bowl history under the legendary Bill Snyder, and as we mentioned, they lost here in the Valley last year. Down on the field, here is Shannon Spake.
Well, Sean, before the season began, former Michigan quarterback and 3-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady, he talked to this Michigan team, and Shane Morris, who grew up a Michigan fan and a Tom Brady fan, had a chance to spend some time with him one-on-one, got some advice. Brady told him, lead by example, show up, work hard, and everyone will follow you. And Morris has really used that advice over the last few weeks as he's prepared for tonight. He's practiced with the first team during the entire bowl practice, film, and more film. Watched him during warm-up, seemed very loose, was having a good time. Devin Gardner was down here with him as well, had some advice. He said, don't let the moment get too big. Be yourself.
And the defense will take the field first for Michigan. They won the toss. and deferred, so Kansas State elected to get the ball. Matt Weil kicks off. Too deep for the dangerous Tyler Lockett to run it out. So here comes the K-State offense led by Jake Waters in his first year at Kansas State. He's from Council Bluffs, Iowa, junior. He's a junior college transfer, won a national championship with Iowa Western last year as the National Junior College Player of the Year. Throws the ball down the field. 16 yards per completion, 4th best in the country. They'll run, try to draw the defense up and then throw it over their heads. John Hubert is the running back, one of the best in the history of K-State. Design run for Waters. And he gets driven back. Brennan Byard, the defensive end, junior from Canton, Michigan, made the stop. Been an up and down year on defense for the Wolverines. Their stats aren't as good as last year, even though their defensive coordinator Greg Madison believes this is a more talented bunch. The problem has been surrendering the big plays. They've given up 49 plays this year of 20 yards or more. That's 14 more than last year when they gave up the fewest plays of that variety in the country. Hubert very close to the first down at the 35-yard line.
And one of the things, Sean, where you look at where Michigan was hurt in the Ohio State game, where they gave up over 300 yards rushing, was up the middle. And the reason why they were hurt up the middle is they weren't gap sound. And so far, 2 running plays between the tackles, they've been in the right spots and limiting the gains.
Well, spotted Hubert just short, so here's a 3rd down and inches. And Waters keeps. He's 6'1", 210 pounds. It's a Michigan defense that for most of the year done a good job stopping the run. But boy, did that change in a hurry in the regular season finale. That excruciating 1-point loss to Ohio State when the Buckeyes rushed for 393. They're a good 3rd down team, 48%. Best in the Big 12, number 16 in the country. Play clock at 3. And it's a strike to Lockett. And Chris, the Michigan coaches knew this was coming. Greg Madison told us yesterday when they go trips to one side and leave Lockett alone on the other side, they want to throw it to Lockett.
Yeah, and what I love about that, Sean, is he's patient in his route running. He gave Ramon Taylor, who cannot give up the inside on that slant. He gave it up. Lockett has that quick little burst and the knowledge to sit it down inside of the zone. Outstanding route, perfectly timed pass.
Now Gronkowski again offset and shifts to the right side of Waters. No gain on that play. Joe Bolden, a linebacker, sophomore from Cincinnati, up to make the stop. And impact players, they don't switch their corners, Chris, from side to side. It'll be Countess to the field most of the night. So both Taylor and Countess will have to deal with Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, and they have to be able to get hands on him, because if he has room to work, he's very difficult to cover downfield. So the best way to do that would be disrupt the route.
Lockett averages 104 yards per game receiving, 11th in the nation. On 2nd and 10, Waters throws incomplete. Ball could not be caught by Tremaine Thompson near the first down marker. Rare drop for the senior. It was 28 catches this year.
Well, this is why Waters is in the ball game and has played seven plays the last 2 games, because he throws strikes and he throws the ball accurately down the field. Normally a play that Tremaine will make.
Another 3rd down, 3rd and 10. Here comes a late rush. Waters runs away and has plenty of room, a first down and much more. Tripped up by DeMonte Thomas. They're going to mark him down at the 23-yard line. A gain of 21.
Well, it starts with outstanding protection. You have number 4, Cam Gordon, coming in there. The last contained man, Waters just dips underneath. And the patience to let routes develop downfield. Everybody's getting depth. Sees the open space and able to get the first down with his legs. We told you he can run, and he's very effective when he has that opportunity.
Another play of 20+ given up by the Michigan defense. Swung out to Thompson, who drops another. Was that a lateral? The officials conferring, and now blowing it incomplete. Apparently just barely a forward pass. A shaky start for Tremaine Thompson, playing in his last game for Kansas State.
A little bit behind him, but one that Tremaine normally catches, and also very dangerous with run after catch.
Had the ball for more than 5 minutes on this opening drive. They're 3 for 3 on 3rd down. Inside handoff to Hubert. Spins off a tackle. Delivers a stiff arm to Raymond Taylor and goes out of bounds with a first down and goal inside the 10-yard line.
Well, again, right up the middle in the A gap, and they run a little stunt, and Frank Clark gets caught up inside. He's responsible for that A gap. He got nosy, peeked in the opposite A gap, and he just misses. And Hubert, Sean, vision and balance with the little spin move. Very explosive runner once he gets to the second level.
Sam's at quarterback. And no surprise that he runs. When he is the quarterback, they run the ball 79% of the time, and 85% run on first down with Sam's in there.
And very effective. And the thing, if you're Michigan, you have to stay disciplined, because he can throw the football, thrown for 452 yards this year. So he's effective throwing it, but obviously you play the percentages and put yourself in the best run defense you have.
He was the leading rushing quarterback in the Big 12 and 8th overall in rushing in the conference. 2nd and goal from the 13. Has room, running to his left. Lowered his shoulder and ran over Thomas Gordon. Ben Gideon, the true freshman, also in on the stop. And another 3rd down for K-State. They've taken up almost half of the first quarter on this opening drive.
Again, here comes Waters back into the ball game, so Greg Madison will counter and run a defense that's pass effective. Play the percentages with those quarterbacks.
3 wide receivers. John Hubert, the running back, on the left hip of Jake Waters. A blitz from Michigan. Ryan got in his face, but too late. Touchdown, Tyler Lockett. How about that drive? 15 plays, 75 yards, 4 for 4 on 3rd down. They used up more than half of the first quarter clock. Ian Patterson on to try the extra point. He's the backup kicker. Their starter, Jack Cantelli, been bothered by lower body injuries late in the year, so Patterson has taken over. He's now 9 for 9 in PATs as the replacement. Another touchdown reception for the junior from Tulsa, Tyler Lockett, his 9th of the year. 7-0 Wildcats. 7-0 Kansas State has the early lead. They've lost their last 5 bowl games, and that's been a major topic of conversation back in Manhattan, Kansas. Bill Snyder, when they qualified for a bowl and discovered where they were going, asked his team in a team meeting, how many of you have ever won a bowl game? Nobody raised their hand.
Wow.
They came out ready to go tonight. Ian Patterson kicks off. Dennis Norfleet's had an excellent year. Running back kicks, and he takes that one back to the 37-yard line. The kicker, Patterson, had to make the tackle. So here's Shane Morris, the true freshman, Hazel Park, Michigan. His first career start, comes out swinging with a little easy pass to Justice Hayes. And he's chopped down at the 50. The coaches told us we'll see a lot more of Justice Hayes. That's just his 4th catch of the year. He's been terrific in bowl practice. He brings a little speed and quickness. And a nice start for Morris, Chris. They gave him something easy.
Well, they were successful running screens against Ohio State. That helps the offensive line. You don't have to block as long. An easy throw for Shane Morris to get him in a little bit of rhythm and confidence for the young true freshman.
Played very briefly in 3 games earlier this year. Most of that action in the opener against Central Michigan. Jeremy Gallen turns the corner. Another easy play for the quarterback to execute. And he's out of bounds at the 43 of K-State. A 7-yard gain. Morris, 6'3", 201-pounder, a lefty. And Al Borges, the offensive coordinator, said unlike most left-handers, he's not a soft thrower. He has a powerful arm. Highly recruited. 4- or 5-star recruit out of De La Salle High School in Warren, Michigan, just outside Detroit, depending on which service you leaned on. ESPN had him as a 4-star recruit. One of the top quarterbacks in the country in the class of 2013. Another screen. Jake Butt down the numbers and inside the 20-yard line. Alana Finau made the tackle, and credit Al Borges with a terrific plan to give Morris a very comfortable start. Gain of 24.
Yeah, Jake Butt's another true freshman that's coming on, and what you got to be impressed with Morris is that he's taking his time and he's patient and he's allowing the play to develop and set up, where a lot of times true freshmen might get in a hurry. Right there, executed well by taking his time and letting Butt get open for the screen.
Well, Michigan trying to answer the impressive opening drive by K-State with one of their own, the powerful Davion Smith, the running back, and they run him inside, and he was greeted rudely on his first carry of the night. Travis Britz and the linebacker Will Davis in on the stop. Britz, an all Big 12 defensive lineman. Fast moving first quarter, under 4 minutes to go. 2nd and goal. Davion Smith, freshman, remains the running back on the right hip now. They faked it to him. Morris threw that high fastball, a little bit too hot for Jeremy Gallen, with Kip Daly in coverage, and the Michigan fans wanted a flag.
I like the fact, Sean, that he tried to throw it in there. Now he threw the 95 miles per hour here, but that's all right, because he has the confidence to try to squeeze the ball into tight coverage, and you want to see that. And that ball was on target, just a little bit too hot for Jeremy Gallen.
Morris now 3 for 4 on the drive. His first incompletion. Fitz Toussaint back at running back.
Like Funchess down here, number 87.
Big target. Morris lofts it up for him, one-on-one, and it's incomplete. Well covered by Dorian Roberts. Former walk-on, like so many of these Wildcats. They've done well over the years with the walk-on program. Some of their best players on this team came to K-State without a scholarship, and it's 4th and goal, and Brady Hoke's going to send the field goal unit out.
Just on that walk-on thing, Sean, that's coaching. I mean, they do a great job of developing players, and nobody develops junior college players first year in their program better than K-State has done over the years.
Matt Weil, the backup kicker for most of the year. Brendan Gibbons not here, home tending to a family matter, so it's Weil kicking the field goal. He's now 2 for 4 this year. 22-yarder. Brady Hoke's Wolverines on the board at 7-3. Michigan kicks off. Matt Weil, line drive kick, so it is returnable for Tyler Lockett. 4 career kickoff returns for touchdowns, and the kicker, Matt Weil, made the tackle. So both kickoff men have had a tackle in this game. Pass is deflected and still caught. Caught by the tight end, Andre McDonald. They love this play, a little pop pass.
Scored 2 touchdowns against Kansas this way. And actually, it's a run pass option. Jake Waters sells it by running and then looks for the tight end. If he's open, he delivers the football. Good concentration by McDonald on the tip ball drill.
Just his 3rd catch of the year. It's deflected by Desmond Morgan, the linebacker. Jake Waters 4 for 6 so far. They marched down the field on their opening drive. After a 40-yard kickoff return and a 10-yard pass, they're in midfield already. John Hubert threw a big hole. Another first down as he went for 11, taken down by Thomas Gordon and Raymond Taylor.
Well, A-gaps, and that's where Kansas State is attacking. James Ross III jumps outside. There was an unblocked safety coming up to his left. He has to jump inside of that lead blocker to bounce the ball to the unblocked player. That's a player doing his own thing, not doing a team thing.
And a thing that they've harped on for a month after they got gouged by Ohio State, in part because they were in the wrong gap too often. There was an example of it again. Hubert down to the 35-yard line, gain of 4.
You know, one thing I picked up in film, Sean, is Cornelius Lucas, and it's not, it's almost 100%, but when his feet and shoulders are square to the line of scrimmage, it's run. When you see that left foot way back, it's pass. So if you're Michigan, especially if you're playing over him, you can give yourself a little help in reading the pass to get yourself in a pass rush stance to get off on the ball and go after the quarterback as opposed to playing run.
So does that look like a run to you? That left foot isn't way back.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's a pass, yeah.
And it goes to the far side of Lockett, who swung out of bounds, but it looked like Lockett with the effort got the first down despite the effort of Raymond Taylor to stop him shy of the marker.
You think about the attack of Kansas State, and I love offensively what they do by moving Lockett around. And if I'm Greg Madison, I know you like to play field and boundary, but Lockett is working on Raymond Taylor. You might want to move Countess over there, who may be your best cover guy in the team, to match up a little bit.
I don't think Greg thinks there's a huge difference between the two. We asked him yesterday about Countess. He said he's had a good year, not a great year, coming back from a knee injury. Deep throw, Lockett's open. Touchdown. He got behind Blake Countess.
Well, I'll take that back because it's a double move. He's that good. Watch the double move. And the thing, when he runs a double move, he's so patient. He's going to sit down and chop his feet to get the corner to sit with him. Watch the chop feet, sit down, sell it. Then he avoids the contact by Countess and is able to get to the open area. And once again, Jake Waters delivers the catchable strike for 6.
There's Kevin Lockett, his dad. Looks like he could still play. Still the all-time leading receiver at K-State. Kevin's brother Aaron, Tyler's uncle, also in the top 5 in career receptions at K-State. Ian Patterson adds the extra point. Second touchdown of the game for Lockett here in the first quarter. This one from 29 yards. He has 4 catches already. 14-3 Cats. 14-3 Kansas State as Ian Patterson kicks off. Dennis Norfleet, that one back 33 yards earlier. He gets stood up at the 22-yard line. Well covered by K-State, just a 16-yard return.
I like the way Al Borges called that first series for him, Sean. A lot of screen passes, quick routes.
Morris under center. Sione Homa fullback, and Justice Hayes in the backfield, and they threw it to Homa. He got chopped down by the safety and one of the best in the country, Ty Zimmerman, senior, playing in his last game. 4-time all Big 12 selection. Missed the last 2 games with a leg injury that has come back to play tonight. It's been reported it was a fractured fibula. Suffered in game 10 against TCU. Second year in a row he got hurt in the 10th game against TCU, and he returned last year in time to play in the bowl game against Oregon.
And he's a tough kid. What I love about him, just watching on film, is his intelligence. Never out of position.
These two teams going up and down the field, and it was quite an opening quarter for Tyler Lockett. 4 catches for 55 yards. 2 of them touchdowns. Back at the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl in Tempe, Arizona. A very pleasant night here in the Valley of the Sun. K-State leads 14-3 as we go to the second quarter. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, and Shannon Spake. Shane Morris under center. Play action pass. Jeremy Gallen. First down. Picked it up with a yard to spare to the 34-yard line. That's the school record all by himself. 39 straight games with a catch. He shared that record with Braylon Edwards.
I think Jeremy Gallen's going to be an excellent NFL player at the slot receiver position. Tough kid, runs inside, great hands.
Justice Hayes in there. We led to believe they might have some trick plays when Justice Hayes is on the field that involve Hayes directly. That time the ball got flipped to Norfleet. And they got about 9. Run down by Blake Slaughter, the middle linebacker. Senior sat out last year, redshirted his own decision because he's playing behind a great player, Arthur Brown, who sat out a year and got a chance to play, and he's been their leading tackler. He was all Big 12 this year.
Good, solid, instinctive player.
2nd and 1. Davion Smith, the power back in there. Whoa, he got plastered and might not have gotten the first down. Lana Finau hit him up high. Travis Britz had him down low.
Good job of Finau not getting too far up the field, closing down the line of scrimmage and getting his helmet in front of the ball carrier. When you do that, 9 times out of 10, the ball carrier either goes backwards or sideways, just like he did.
Shane Morris has looked poised and confident throughout. Wildcats showing blitz. And they bring it off the corner. And Toussaint ran right into it for a loss of about a yard. It's really staggering when you think about the history of Michigan football, how poorly they have run the ball this year, averaging 131 yards per game rushing. That's 100th in the country. Despite the fact they have 2 offensive tackles they believe will both play in the NFL. Taylor Lewan there on the left of your screen is the 2-time Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year. He'll be a very high draft pick. Came back for his senior season. Wanted to play in the Rose Bowl and win a Big Ten championship. Instead, he's playing in his hometown of Phoenix. Morris all day to throw. And found Butt. Jake got to the 29. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
You know, one of the reasons why they struggled running the football is they've had 5 different starting combinations along that offensive line. 2 tackles have been solid, but they have not settled in on guard, center, guard. Now this is the 3rd game where they have those starters playing together at those 3 positions.
Eric Magnuson, the left guard. Graham Glasgow, the center. Kyle Kalis, the right guard. Helped pave the way for 603 yards of offense against Ohio State. Morris on target again. Boy, has he been impressive, and Funches has the first down inside the 15-yard line.
Now I think he intended this to throw the ball behind, because you see Roberts sitting inside. So as a quarterback, you throw your receiver open, you see the corner sitting outside, you throw to the outside shoulder, and Funches tells you why he's one of the best slot tight ends there is in the country, much like Jason Morrow from Texas Tech, who Kansas State is familiar with.
Funches won the award as the top tight end in the Big Ten this year. Pollock Clark Award. Davion Smith. Again, they just cannot run the ball. 8 yards rushing now for Michigan. And Blake Slaughter was there first.
How sweet a name is that for a middle linebacker? I know that's probably been said 100 times to be the next middle linebacker. I had just Slaughter.
Played behind Arthur Brown last year, was an All-American, now a rookie. Second-round pick of the Baltimore Ravens. Slaughtered 15 tackles in the regular season finale, their win at Kansas. Morris looks like a busted play. Maybe not. There's Jake Butt. Down to the 8-yard line. Dante Barnett made the tackle. Safety for K-State.
No panic though by Shane Morris. Messed up the read and the ball handling and the carrying out of the fake, but got himself in position to deliver a catchable ball to Jake Butt.
Just joining us, first career start for the true freshman Morris. Devin Gardner out with turf toe, an injury in the regular season finale against Ohio State. Wow. I don't like that play. Well, they look like they tried to run Kansas State's play.
Yeah, a little bit of a speed option there, and I don't think Shane trusts his right hand to make the pitch, so he's going to go with the golden thing, and that's his left arm. At least he delivered a catchable ball on Justice Hayes. Took a long time to develop when you're running that play into the boundary.
And stopped just inside the 10-yard line, so Wiles on for the second time. .26-yard try. Hit one earlier from 22. Junior from San Diego. Two nice drives for Michigan. Each has ended in a field goal. It's 14-6 K-State. Last game for Mac Brown in Texas in the Valero Alamo Bowl Monday, 6:45. Tyler Lockett. Brought it back to the 41 again. The kicker, Matt Weil, had to make the tackle. 34-yard returner, Shannon Spake.
Well, Sean, defensive coordinator for Michigan, Greg Madison, he told us the key for this game would be to not give up the big plays. They've given up 140 yards of offense. And over here on the sideline, a lot of questions to the defense. Brady Hoke, defensive coordinator, secondary coaches, asking what is going on, where are the breakdowns happening, telling their guys to figure it out and calm down.
Well, the breakdowns are happening as they're not in the right gaps on runs up the middle, and they're biting on double moves. 2 touchdowns that Lockett has scored have been on double moves by Lockett on the corners, both Countess and Taylor.
Jake Waters pressured, so threw a sidearm pass out wide to Tremaine Thompson. We made it to the 46, a gain of 5. We're more than midway through the second quarter. This is just the third possession for Kansas State. Michigan's had the ball twice. 2 touchdowns on the 2 possessions for K-State. 2 field goals for Michigan. And they've scored every time they've touched the ball, both of these teams. Jake Waters steps up, finds Gronkowski down the middle of the field. Inside the 20, and Gordon wrestles him down inside the 10-yard line. And if you're wondering, yes, he is one of those Gronkowski brothers, including the great tight end of the New England Patriots, Rob Gronkowski, who's here tonight.
Well, again, this is the play little quarterback run. Desmond Morgan has to play man on that. Anytime you see him head down, running right at you with that big gap in between, then you have to jump man. If you don't, it's out of the deal. You're done. This is a very difficult play to defend, and the only way to defend it is to play man.
Face mask by Gordon. They bring it half the distance to the goal. 46 yards on the play to Gronkowski. Freshman from Amherst, New York. First and goal from the 14. John Hubert has accomplished his goal. He battles down to the 8. But his larger goal entering the night, beyond trying to win the game, was to get to 1,000 yards for the year, and he has. Needed 32 yards rushing. And he has 39 tonight.
Just amazing the power for a 191-pound guy when he's carrying about 700 pounds on his back. He's a tough kid. Good balance and vision. Excellent back for this system of offense.
Finished the regular season with his best career performance, 220 yards rushing in the win at Kansas.
And Lockett one-on-one on Taylor.
Waters back in the game. Quick throw, and it is another touchdown for Lockett. His third.
Everybody in the world knows where they're going. You got to rise to the challenge. You got to jam him at the line of scrimmage. If you let him free, he's going to beat you all day. See, there's no jam, Sean. He has too much room to work. You have to jam him to disrupt the route, and it's just a little back shoulder fade, and he works back to the football. But you have to get him on the line of scrimmage and make him go over the top.
3 possessions for K-State, 3 touchdowns, all of them on catches by Tyler Lockett. Ian Patterson adds the extra point. 74 years young. Said he hasn't given much thought to how much longer he wants to coach. He evaluates it at the end of each season. Very impressive performance. In the 3 possessions when they tried to score, they went right down the field and scored 3 touchdowns, all of them by Tyler Lockett. 5 catches in the half, 3 of them for scores. Here's Shannon.
Coach, I heard you moments ago just encouraging your defense. In your opinion, where are the major breakdowns happening?
Well, we gave a big play on the double move, and you can't do that. That's one of the things we didn't want to do. Not good on third downs right now as much as anything, and so we got to do a better job there coverage-wise and pressure on the passing.
You guys didn't know how Shane Morris would respond to the game-time pressure. What do you think? How's he done?
Well, I think he's done a good job. You know, we got to help him on defense, obviously, and get something going in the kicking game also.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Good to see Brady looking better. He had a bad bout with food poisoning yesterday. Halftime, 210 yards of offense for K-State. Waters was impressive at the helm. Lockett the star of the half. Let's head to Reese Davis, Mark May, and Lou Holtz in the studio with a halftime report. And welcome back to the 2013 Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl here on ESPN. At the half, Kansas State leading Michigan 21-6. Take a look at the first half stats brought to you by Mobile One. Extended performance. One number, Chris Spielman, that jumps out at me. The 10 yards rushing for Michigan. They had 14 yards on 1 rush, the reverse run by Devin Funchess. So on their 8 other rushing attempts, -4 yards, and that's with no sacks allowed. So they were just 8 really bad running plays, and that's been a problem all year. Meanwhile, Shane Morris has been pretty good for Michigan. I think better than pretty good.
Been outstanding. I mean, Al Borges did a good job of calling some easy passes, some screen passes, some 3-step drops, and they started opening up. But they have to be able to run inside the tackles. Never in my lifetime when I say that a Michigan team struggles running inside. They always pride themselves on their physicalness inside. They don't have it tonight. They need to get it if they want to get back into this ball game, Sean.
They will get the ball first to begin the second half. The true freshman Shane Morris making his first start at quarterback for Michigan. 15 out of 19 with no help from the ground game. Ian Patterson kicks off. Northfleet has to retreat. It was awfully shallow for that kickoff. It wasn't that deep in the end zone. Here's Shannon Spake.
Well, Sean, you can't take anything for granted. That is exactly what Bill Schneider told his team in the very first meeting before the season began, and the message in the locker room was pretty similar here this evening. He said, you got to play like it's 0-0. It's a message these guys have been hearing their entire lives. Come out and play hard. Schneider told me he knows that Michigan will have the ability to come back, and his guys just have to go out there and play.
Well, in order for them to come back, they got to establish a running game, and on defense, they got to get off the field on third downs, as Kansas State was 4 for 4 in the first half.
As you see, 39 straight wins when leading at the half. Pitch to Justice Hayes. Well, Borges has been searching for a lot of creative ways to get the offense moving.
Well, that's a big problem when you as an offensive coordinator don't have the confidence in your inside run blocking to call running plays, and you have to come up with fake reverses, double reverses, and fake handoff pitches to get some type of running game going. Now, he's doing a good job of creating, but for them to get solid, they have to be able to pound the ball inside the
Shane Morris, the true freshman, the quarterback. That was a pass play to Hayes. Now the inside handoff. Derek Green, true freshman from Richmond, Virginia, taken down by Ryan Mueller. First carry of the ball game for Green, goes for 5 and a first down.
They're expecting big things from Green. Came in as a true freshman, a little overweight. As the season progressed, started to become more of a contributor to this offense.
Play action pass. He's throwing a deep ball for Gallen, well covered by Dorian Roberts.
He's impressive as Dorian Roberts. A tough assignment against the shifty Jeremy Gallen. Stays in his position, understands to be deep as the deepest, stays on an upfield shoulder, and discipline. And all the Michigan guys we talk to, coaches, players, one thing they talk about Kansas State to a man is that they play very hard and they do not make mental mistakes.
Gallen nowhere to run and taken down back at the 30. Jonathan Truman, the primary tackler, but they were ready for that one.
Well, it's just what we talked about, that everybody's always in position. It starts with number 21 Truman, number 22 coming up from his cornerback position, and Barnett forcing the ball back inside to the pursuing defenses from the backside. Discipline and understanding of where the ball needs to bounce. Kansas State executes at a high level.
Goes in the books as a forward pass, a loss on the play. Just 22 yards rushing tonight for Michigan. 4-man rush on 3rd down and 14. Morris throws, and it is dropped. Would have been a first down. Funchess couldn't hang on, and as good a year as he has had, he's had problems with drops. He had 5 of them in their loss at Iowa.
Well, when one of your top offensive weapons cannot make a play for you because the ball is right there where it needs to be, in between defenders, and Funchess, a big play receiver, does not come up with a big play for the Wolverine offense. Tough duty. I mean, they're off. They're just off tonight. The whole offense.
One of the things the players talked about is the ball spins a little bit differently, curves differently coming from a left-hander, but they've had almost a full month of practicing with Morris, working with the 1s and 2s in practice. They should be used to it by now. Jermaine Thompson taken down immediately after fielding the punt at the 36-yard line. J.U. Chesson made the tackle. Valero Alamo Bowl, last game for Mack Brown as coach of the Longhorns. 158 wins at Texas. Only the late great Darrell Royal had more. A national championship, that great stretch of 9 straight years with 10 wins or more, and that's probably what led to the end, because the last 4 years they just couldn't live up to that high standard that he set. Did it with great class and dignity. One of the truly nice people that we've met.
Yeah, absolutely. And you take a look at Mack, he cares so much about Texas, and maybe the reason why he's stepping down, because maybe it's time for somebody else to have the shot.
It certainly wasn't handled well by all parties, but he handled his part of it, it seemed, with his usual class and grace. John Hubert got across midfield.
You know, it's interesting to see a team huddle. We're not used to that all year, Sean. We see so many spread teams and tempo, but you see a team that huddles and executes, balanced offensively. 20 runs, 17 passes tonight.
Well, it's been another hallmark of K-State offense under Bill Snyder. They like to be balanced. Perry Sexton, one of the smartest guys on the field, 3 times first team academic all Big 12. Blake Gideon tripped him up with help from Raymond Taylor. Sexton's a junior. For all 3 years he's been eligible to be first team academic all Big 12. He has been. He's a 3.6 student in marketing and turned down a chance to play at Harvard. Got accepted at Harvard, but decided he'd rather play in his home state of Kansas. for the Wildcats.
Harvard or Harvard of Central New York?
No, Harvard, the other Harvard.
Okay.
The one in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Terrific football program. What a nice job Tim Murphy's done. Talk about excellent coaching jobs. Waters looks like he has a first down. They chased him out at the 32 with Cam Gordon in hot pursuit.
Well, again, it comes back to discipline and understanding rush lanes. Cam Gordon does chase him down with great pursuit, but he jumps inside, and the smart Waters sees, well, he's losing contain because he's jumping inside, leaving the giant hole outside, in which he takes advantage. That's a little bit of what I'm seeing with Michigan on defense, is the undiscipline and trying to do too much. You get out of your responsibility, your gap, and you open up holes.
Well, they've gone to the quote-unquote running quarterback, but Waters just ran for his 4th first down of the night. Greg Madison said Waters is considered their throwing quarterback, but he's a dangerous runner too, and he's proven that. Sams throws one. Lockett dropped the ball. Take his scholarship away.
I bet you his dad's up there saying, I never dropped one like that. And let's see what we have here. Again, it's just a little shake and bake, and this speed and smoothness and quickness. And Sams delivers a perfect ball. Waters wants to see his buddy Sams throw a touchdown pass.
Boy, his first pass of the night was right on target. Kevin Lockett can't believe it.
I never dropped one like that.
His son has another year to go. He's going to be their all-time leading receiver. Break his dad's mark, you would think, if he stays healthy. He had the 2 best receiving games in K-State history this year. Whoa, Sams fumbled, and it looks like Michigan had the ball. They had several bodies at the bottom of the pile. Looked like Mario Ojemudia had a first crack at it, and somebody got it for the Maize and Blue. Jake Ryan. First turnover of the game for either team.
Well, Sam seems to have the ball secure. Desmond Morgan with a wrap up and having the conscience to go ahead and pull that ball out. A big play for the Wolverine defense that helped that offense, and maybe they can get some momentum or some juice with them. Created off the turnover.
They needed a break. Now they need to score and move quickly. The Wolverines, under a minute to go, 3rd quarter in this very fast-moving game. And they were moving too quickly on offense. Looked like a false start on the left end of the line.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 84. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
A.J. Williams, one of the tight ends.
See Taylor Lewan right there, tapping him on the head, encouraging. Taylor's been an outstanding leader. 2-time All-American.
Back home from right up the road in Cave Creek, Arizona. Taylor told us yesterday that's about 45 minutes north of here. He played his senior year of high school not far away from here at Chaparral High School. And that's where the Wolverines practiced all week. So it was more than a little bit odd to be back at his high school. Mueller couldn't get to Morris, got a finger on him. The pass incomplete over the head of Gallen. But when we talked with Lewan yesterday, Chris, that was a very interesting story that he told us that I didn't know. He played at a different high school prior to his senior year. Cactus Shadows, the Falcons. He was a nose tackle with no interest, not a scholarship offer, nobody coming after him. Goes to Chaparral, plays with Craig Rowe, who was a terrific defensive prospect, one of the tops in the country. They move him to left tackle. Rowe winds up going to Michigan. Taylor said, I'm not even sure Michigan really wanted me. It might have been they wanted Craig so much they just kind of threw me in there as well. And he's become one of the best offensive linemen in the country. Look out, Morris had it knocked away as he wound up to throw. Michigan has the ball, at least for the moment. It's a fumble as Mike Moore, the linebacker, knocked it out of the hands of Morris.
Yeah, you can see right here they do a little bit of a stunt game, and Moore does not give up, comes back and retraces his steps, and the discipline to come after the football as opposed to the big hit. Michigan gets a break by falling on the football. But going back to Lewan, Sean, I know that he's taken a lot of heat this year. I think he's outstanding. He's athletic, he's physical, He's mean, and I can see why he's the #2 ranked offensive lineman by Todd McShay.
Well,
he's going to be
had his best year.
I agree with him.
Well, the coaches feel that way too. They struggled on the interior of the offensive line. It's the end of the quarter. Neither team scored in the third. It's still a 15-point lead for K-State. 3rd and 15 for Shane Morris. First play of the 4th quarter. He's under duress. Throws a wobbler, incomplete. Diving attempt by Jeremy Gallen. Couldn't come up with it. Dante Barnett, the coverage.
Oh, missed opportunity for the Wolverines again. Coming in the 4th quarter, 22 rushing yards, 131 through the air, 153 total yards. Dominant performance by the Wildcat defense.
In that Ohio State game, the offensive performance by Michigan against the Buckeyes looking more and more like an aberration. Because for the most part, late in the year, the offense was dreadful for Michigan. Another pretty good one. Jermaine Thompson taken down immediately. Well covered by Jeremy Jackson.
Steve Addazio has done a great job at Boston College this year. Really has.
Yep. Done a terrific job of playing to what he had. He wants to be a spread offense team, but they weren't set up that way with the talent he inherited. So they went to Andre Williams with that power running game, and he had a tremendous year. Lockett, another catch. Run down by Jake Ryan with that hamstring graft for an ACL. Moving nicely.
Yes, he is. And Lockett also moving nicely with a little shake and bake. But the thing about the wide receivers here, the reason why he's able to make this type of move is because they never have to work to catch the ball. It's been that way the whole night. Waters is on fire.
Over 100 yards receiving now for Lockett. 104 on 9 catches. Sexton again. Thomas Gordon tackled him. Blake Countess there to finish him off. First down. They're inside the 25-yard line to the 23.
Pre-snap recognition. You're not covering down the #3 wide receiver. You have Desmond Morgan jumping inside with Cam Gordon coming off the outside. He has that gap. That area is vacated. On the snap of the football, Desmond Morgan has to go to the #3 wide receiver, counting from the outside in. He does not, and a lack of execution once again by the Wolverine defense.
Slides down with a 2-yard gain.
How bright is the future for the Wildcats? You have Waters coming back next year, Lockett coming back next year, losing Hubert.
We'll have to replace 3 starting offensive linemen who are veterans. A lot of talent coming back. And then the same is true of Michigan. It's a very young team. Under 9 minutes to go. The option. The pitch to Hubert. Shouldered across the boundary by Wilson. Lockett, by the way, with 100 yards receiving tonight. That's his 7th 100-yard game of the year. That's one off the school record for a single season set by Jordy Nelson. His 9 catches, the most ever in a bowl game for a K-State receiver. This is the 17th bowl appearance in school history. And overall, it's his 9th career 100-yard game. The school record is 10 by 2 terrific receivers, Quincy Morgan and Jordy Nelson. So Lockett will break that next year, assuming he comes back. A blitz on 3rd and 3. Waters had time. It was incomplete. Sexton wanted a flag against DeMonte Thomas.
It'll be interesting to see Coach Snyder going for the field goal. I mean, I understand that, but the way your offense is moving, I wouldn't have been surprised if they go for it. But you know Lockett is good, Sean, when everybody in the world knows that they're targeting him and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Teams can't take it away.
Patterson missed from 40. See if the new snapper and holder execute. They do, and this one's good from 22. And that's the right play. Get ahead by 18. Now it's a 3-score game. Sports Center is next. These folks know the drill.
Yeah, they do, don't they? They come ready. I'd like to see Coach Borges and Brady go a little tempo now with their young quarterback to see how he handles that type of situation. And you need to if you want to get back in this ball game.
Down by 3 scores. Patterson's kickoff down to Dennis Northleaf. Whoa! Got upended as he crossed the 20.
Yeah, Truman shot in there and took out a bunch of walls and made a pile. Knocked him down.
Beautiful night in the Valley of the Sun. It was in the low 60s at kickoff. It's cooled off a bit. 53,284 here. Third largest in the 25-year history of this bowl game. Formerly the Copper and Insight Bowl. Second year is the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl. Whoa. Morris's pass almost intercepted. Should have been intercepted.
George O'Leary will be calling the defense for Central Florida.
Yeah, Jim Fleming, their defensive coordinator, took the head coaching job at Rhode Island within the last week or so. So George O'Leary, with a background on defense, will be coordinating the defense as well. I mean, they're a tough enough team to stop.
Yeah.
You have your full complement of coaches. Big underdog Central Florida, but they've had a thrilling year. A lot of exciting last-minute victories.
They got a quarterback, they got a chance. Blake Bortles is a quarterback.
Good catch in the flat by Toussaint, but he had to hit the ground. And we talked, Chris, about these two teams, how disappointing the 7-5 record is, but how close it could have been to being so much better. Michigan, despite all the problems, 4 of their 5 losses by 4 points or less. They had the 4 overtime loss at Penn State. They had a loss in the regular season finale by 1 point when they couldn't get the 2-point conversion in the final seconds against Ohio State. Gallen the catch. And that's a big catch for him because that gives him the single season receiving yardage record.
He's a really good football player. Looking forward to watching him in the NFL. Tough. Love those guys.
1,339 yards receiving this season, breaks the mark of 1,330 by Braylon Edwards back in 2004. Interception. Dante Barnett. Lewan tries to stop him and does inside the 10-yard line. Looked like Blake Slaughter tipped it, and Barnett has his team leading 4th interception of the year.
Yeah, this is the one right here with Blake Slaughter, because the ball wasn't thrown with any loft, and Blake Slaughter is going to get a hand on it, but you're going to see where Shane Morris trusts his arm a little bit too much, and they run a little shake route with Funchess. He throws it on the line where he should have thrown it over the top, and I'm going to show you why Taylor Lewan's going to be a #1 draft pick. When you have an offensive tackle that can run like that and save a touchdown and never quit on his team. I know he gets a little crazy in his extracurricular activity after a play, but he gives you everything he has on every single play.
He says he had no regrets about coming back for his senior season. Hubert got down to the goal line but not in.
You see right there, the forearm is down short of the goal line, and once the forearm hits, ball is down and marked at that spot.
I don't think Taylor Lewan's going to have fond memories of Sun Devil Stadium. He told us yesterday his last high school game was in the state championship here as a senior. They lost 38-0 to Saguaro, their rival. The last game of his college career is going to be a loss in Sun Devil Stadium. Hubert punches it in from the 1-yard line. And that is now 7 straight games with 30 points or more for K-State. The only 2 teams with longer active streaks of 30 points plus are the 2 that are going to play in the national championship game, Florida State and Auburn. 14 in a row for Florida State with 30 or more in 9 straight games with that point total for Auburn. Ian Patterson for the extra point. They're getting the Gatorade bucket ready for Coach Snyder. Ooh, he's too slow. Even at 74, he's got good moves.
And then he kind of said, okay, you got me.
That's not right.
He's pointing at the clock.
Yep.
It's not over yet.
It's all about teaching, always. 2:25 to go.
I hope I'm moving like that at 74. You got actually a good back pedal.
Yeah, that stung him in the eyes, too.
Lateral movement.
I read something the other day, New Year's resolution. I can't remember who wrote it, but one of the things they wrote was they'd like to see the Gatorade bath just go away. It's kind of been there, done that. The coaches don't like it.
I agree.
This man's 74 years old. It's a chilly night now in the 50s.
We talked about him. I asked him about, the challenges of this job, and one of the things that's very challenging in college coaching is the recruiting part of it. He still enjoys that, and he's got a veteran staff with him.
He's a fascinating man. He said he's been reviewed at the end of every year, so this is perhaps could be his last game. He didn't give us any indication that he was going to walk away, but he said, I focus on the task each day. And when you talk to him and you know him, you talk to the people around him, that's what he does. I mean, he's not thinking about anything a half hour from now. He's thinking about what's going on right now. And we've talked about the turnaround job that he did when he first got there. 14 coaches before him combined for a winning percentage of under 27%. His first stint won 2/3 of his games. Ron Prince came in, had one winning year, 2 sub-500 years. Bill came back, and the winning has returned.
One thing that would help me with my decision if I were in his situation is I have Waters and Lockett back. That's
right.
That's a big help to come back.
You know what obviously we saw. Yeah. He keeps himself in good shape. He's sharp as a tack.
Yeah.
When you talk to him, there's no indication that his mind is slipping at all. I mean, he is on top of every facet of this program, and it seems like he continues to enjoy it. Morris throws. Snatched out of the air by Drew Dillio. Got ridden down by Blake Slaughter. Under 2 minutes to go.
Well, and Sean, an indication of what you're pointing about, he doesn't change. As soon as he got hit with the Gatorade bath, he's pointing to the clock at Ryan Mueller, his guy that he really cares for. All right, we got 3 minutes left.
Always
that's
teaching.
Him. Yep, that's him. Consistent.
Shane Morris pulls it down and runs. And look at him go. Dylan Schellenberg chases him out.
Nice call by Al Borges. Shane Morris patient, letting it set up, getting a good block by Fitz Toussaint, showing his athletic ability that they raved about. It's not Devin Gardner, but it certainly can be efficient.
The family enjoys it. 40-yard run. Well, there was even some speculation, people in Michigan asking, what happens if Morris goes out and has a huge night? Do you have a quarterback controversy all winter long? I think Morris has been solid, but Devin Gardner, as he's healthy, is still their man. This late flurry is going to get them over 200 yards of offense. And Chris, I was stunned preparing for the game. That Ohio State game, the regular season finale, was the only game in the last 4 when they had more than 175 yards of total offense in the game.
Yeah, it's just, they have to be able to find a way, and it'll be a big emphasis this spring to run the football. And I'm sure Coach Hoke will have a very physical spring for their front sevens on both sides. But there's no quarterback controversy in my opinion. I think he's got a very bright future, and that throw right there shows he's a big-time guy.
Toussaint to the end zone, and a touchdown, the first of the night for Michigan.
It's good for the senior from Youngstown, Ohio, Fitzgerald Toussaint, getting a touchdown in his last game as a Wolverine. Well executed and patient by Shane Morris on the option. That's what you like to see, a guy that's been in the program to go out with some kind of memory like Fitz Toussaint getting that touchdown.
Disappointing senior season. Averages 3.5 yards per carry. Michigan's going to go for 2. With 1:15 to go, trailing 31-12. Gallen throws it. Nice play. Justice Hayes, the 2-point catch.
That is a real nice play. A lot of people will have that in their playbook. I'm telling you, this is something, especially after they ran this play so many times. Justice Hayes sneaking into the flat. Jeremy Gallen with a nice toss. That will be copied, I promise you, because I'd copy that in a heartbeat.
Well, give Al Borges credit for trying to do as much as he can to get the offense going. They've had a lot of creativity tonight. Here's Shannon.
Well, Sean, you know this is the last game for a lot of seniors, a lot of guys leaving the schools after this year. There's also a last game for a guy on the Michigan sideline, Ron Falk. He has been the equipment manager since 1974. He has been on the Michigan sideline wearing the maize and the blue since 1974. And he is leaving and retiring this evening. He's seen a lot of games. I talked to him before the game. I congratulated him. He kind of looked at me and he laughed and he's like, what are you congratulating me for? I'm still going to work. I'm just not going to be on the sideline. But, you know, great career for that man.
Well, you know, I met him when I came on my official visit to Michigan. And it's interesting. I saw him when we did the Nebraska game. And he came up and he recalled meeting me and going over and talking to me, telling me about the equipment in Michigan. Just a great guy. And loves the blue. He's a great career. Congratulations.
Here's John Falk. Well, also the end of an era in the Michigan broadcast booth. They're going for the onside kick. Wiles' kick goes out of bounds. And the flag flies. Well, this is going to be the last game behind the microphone for one of the great voices of college football, Frank Beckman. 33 years behind the mic. Calling it a career at the end of this year. He followed the legendary Bob Ufer, which is impossible to do.
I love Bob Ufer.
There's Frank just kind of rocking back and forth behind that pole.
Right,
thank you, Chris. What a nice guy Frank is, too.
He's a pro.
Bob Ufer for 42 years and then Frank for 33. That's 75 years in a row of broadcasting. That's about as good as it gets.
I know this is an emotional moment for Frank. 33 years, as you said, Sean, and loves Michigan football, passionate about it. Has an outstanding morning radio show up there. Just been a voice of Detroit area for a long time.
Sams is going to come in to take the snap. And Frank was worried about his first game of his career and his last when we talked to him before the game tonight. They handed off to Robert Rose, the backup running back. Frank said he broke it in 1981. Michigan was #1 in the country. First game they lost to Wisconsin. Thinking, now what a terrible way to break in. You know, the fans are going to blame them, the new messenger. They said if I lose tonight in my last game, Notre Dame is going to take over by a fraction of a percentage point as the winningest program by percentage of all time in college football from Michigan. I don't want to go out with that happening. Notre Dame overtaking Michigan. That's going to happen.
I've known Frank for 20 years, and after the game, I want to remind him of that. That's the kind of relationship we have. I've known him my 8 years in Detroit, and Frank was always good to me. An outstanding pro. I mentioned too, Sean, in the broadcast booth is Jim Brandstetter. Does an outstanding job. Was the analyst for the Lions, also on their radio network.
Yeah, when you played, and
still is, I believe.
Yeah, he is. Robert Rose gets the carry. Well, it was a tough call. I mean, I think we could have gone for co-players of the game, which I always think is a cop-out. Jake Waters, the player of the game, not just the 271 yards passing, but 5 first downs running. And he ran for 46 yards as well. He is the Capital One player of the game. But it wouldn't surprise you if that trophy for the MVP, there's the championship game trophy, if it went to Lockett as well. Tyler Lockett. 10 catches, 116 yards. All 3 of the touchdown passes thrown by Waters went to Lockett. Sams runs, and that'll be a story of the offseason. He says, if I'm going to be backing up Waters next year, I want to play wide receiver. So we'll see if that happens.
Better work on his 2-point route running then.
Great performance by K-State. They snap that 5-game bowl losing streak. Now 7-10 all-time in bowl games. Bill Snyder asked a lot this week about the bowl streak. He said, if I knew the answer, we wouldn't have lost 5 in a row. But they solved that problem tonight. They win 31-14 over Michigan. 6-loss season for Michigan. 4th time in 6 years. Wow. Live coverage of the postgame trophy ceremony presented by Capital One is on ESPN 3 in just a few minutes. So long, everyone.